गिरवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजधन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजधन रंजन जमुना तीरा वनचारी जमुना तीरा वनचारी जय बिहारी माधव बिहारी कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बोले हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। भागवत महापुराण की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्रीराधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। ॐ वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा माई की जय। So last time in the series of Bhagavad Mahapuran discussion, I discussed from chapter 5 of Canto 3, which is Vidurji's talk with Maitreya ji in Haridwar. And there Vidurji asked several questions like he asked the Please describe how Narayana, the creator of the universe, and the self-sufficient Lord has differently created the nature, activities, forms, features, and names of different living creatures. Then again Vidurji asked, "O my Lord, I have repeatedly heard about these higher and lower statuses of human society from the mouth of Vyasdeva, and I am quite satiated with all these lesser subject matters and their happiness. They have not satisfied me with the nectar of topics about Krishna." So he asked all these questions, and we discussed some of those, and then we jumped over the prayers of demigod to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that's how the chapter ended. Brahmaji and others prayed to Krishna, Lord Narayana, and the last verse of the chapter 5 says that, "O Supreme Self, please give us, who are creator in the beginning from the Mahat Tattva, the total cosmic energy, your kind direction on how we shall act." So all the demigods asked how we shall act in this cosmic creation. Kindly award us your perfect knowledge and potency so that we can render you service in the different departments of subsequent creation. This is what I discussed last time, and that was the last verse of the chapter 5. Today I want to start chapter 6, which is creation of the universal form. There, Maitreya Rishi said, here, the verse is this. ऋषिरुवाच इति तासां स्वशक्तीनां सतीनां समेत्य सह प्रसुप्तलोकतन्त्राणां निशाम्य गतिमीश्वरः इति तासां स्वशक्तीनां सतीनां समेत्य सह प्रसुप्तलोकतन्त्राणां निशाम्य गतिमीश्वरः. Prabhuji, you want to recite? One more time. Rishiruvac iti tasam swasaktinam satinam sametya saha prasupta loka tantranam nisamya gatimishwaraha. The translation is this: by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Rishi Maitreya said, "The Lord thus heard about the suspension of the progressive creative functions of the universe due to the non-combination of his potencies, such as the Mahat Tattva." So, this is what Maitreya ji is explaining. And Prabhupada is explaining in the purport that there is nothing wanting in the creation of the Lord. All the potencies are there in a dormant state. But unless they are combined by the will of the Lord, nothing can progress. The suspended progressive work of creation can only be revived by the direction of the Lord. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Once again, the translation is, the Rishi Maitreya said, "The Lord thus heard about the suspension of the progressive creative functions of the universe due to the non-combination of his potencies, such as the Mahat Tattva." So I think this is clear. So let's move to the next verse. This is verse number 2 of the chapter 6, Canto 3. काल संज्ञां तथा देवीं बिभ्रत् शक्तिं मुरुक्रमः त्रयो विंशति तत्त्वानां गणं जुगपदा विशत्. One more time. काल संज्ञां तथा देवीं बिभ्रत् शक्तिं मुरुक्रमः त्रयोविंशति तत्त्वानां गणं जुगपदा विशत्. Prabhuji, you want to recite? If no one is there to recite, then I will read the translation and then move to the purport. Translation given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON founder Acharya. The Supreme Powerful Lord then simultaneously entered into the 23 elements with the goddess Kali. His external energy, who alone amalgamates all the different elements. One more time. The Supreme Powerful Lord then simultaneously entered into the 23 elements with the goddess Kali. His external energy, who alone amalgamates all the different elements. Now, this will be clear after reading the purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The ingredients of matter are counted as 23. And Prabhupada is listing here the total material energy, false ego, sound, touch, form, 5, taste, smell, earth, water, fire, 10, air, sky, eye, ear, nose, tongue, skin, hand, leg, evacuating organ, genitals, speech and mind, 23. So all are combined together by the influence of time and are again dissolved in course of time. Prabhupada is saying here that it is explained in the Bhagavatam that all 23 combined with the will of Lord Krishna, and then at the time of dissolution, they dissolve. Time, therefore, is the energy of the Lord and acts in her own way by the direction of the Lord. So time is feminine gender, and the goddess is goddess Kali, who is presiding deity. The Lord, the time therefore is the energy of the Lord and acts in her own way by the direction of the Lord. So Lord Krishna gives direction to the goddess Kali, and then goddess Kali then acts in the way that she gets direction from the Lord. This energy is called Kali. Kali, not Kali. Kali. And is represented by the dark, destructive goddess, generally worshipped by the persons influenced by the mode of darkness and ignorance in material existence. So Mother Kali is also worshipped by people who are in the mode of ignorance in the material existence and also in the mode of darkness. In the Vedic hymns, this process is described as Mula Prakriti, Aviktir, Avikritir, Mahadadya, Prakriti, Vikrityah, Sapta, Sado, Sakah, Tu, Vikaro, Na, Prakriti, Na, Vikriti, Purusha. This is from the Vedic literature. The energy which acts as material nature in a combination of 23 ingredients is not the final source of creation. The Lord enters into the elements and applies his energy called Kali, in all other Vedic scriptures. The same principle is accepted. In Brahma Samhita 535, it is stated, Ekapyasau rachaitum jagadanda kotim yachaktirasti jagadanda chayadantah andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahmaji prays to Lord Govinda, Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahmaji says, I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is the original personality of Godhead, by his partial plenary explanation, Mahavishnu, who is partial expansion of the partial expansion of the Lord Krishna. He enters into material nature, and then into each and every universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, into all the elements. So then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu enters in all. So now we know that Mahavishnu creates universe, and then universe grows. And then in each universe, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu lie down and he creates Lord Brahma. Then in the northeastern side of each universe, there is a ocean of milk where Kshirodakshaya, there is another Vishnu, Vishnu number 3. He lies down in the ocean of milk, and then he expands himself in innumerable deities, 400 Vishnu form, and he enters in every atom of each universe, and he is also in our heart. So from Krishna comes Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. That's why Krishna says that Sarvasya Chaham Hridaya Sannivishto, I am seated in everybody's heart. Krishna is seated in everybody's heart in the form of Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Here Prabhupada makes it very clear, including every atom of matter. Such manifestations of cosmic creation are innumerable, both in the universes and in the individual atoms. So that's how Lord creates, and he powers each atom. Similarly, this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Athava bahune taina kim gyatena tavarjuna Vishtabhyam idam Krishnam ekansena sthito jagat. So Lord Krishna explains, he tells Arjuna that, O Arjuna, in 10th chapter, when he explains all his glories, all his vibhutis, all his belongings, then it's too much to list in short span of time in the war. So he said, "O Arjuna, there is no necessity of your knowing about my innumerable energies, which act in various ways. I enter into the material creation by my partial plenary expansion, Paramatma." So as a Paramatma, Lord Krishna is in everybody's heart. He again says that Iswara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddese Arjun Tatati. O Arjun, Paramatma is situated in everybody's heart. Iswara, as Iswara. So here he said that by my partial plenary expansion, Paramatma are the super soul in all the universes and in all the elements thereof. And thus the work of creation goes on. That's how Bhagavan Krishna creates. The wonderful activities of material nature are due to Lord Krishna, and thus he is the final cause or the ultimate cause of all causes. So there Prabhupada proves here with the all Vedic literature by references that Lord Krishna is called of cause of all causes because all the Purusha avatara of Lord Krishna, here three Purusha avatara, Karan Udak Sai Vishnu, Garbha Udak Sai Vishnu, and Chira Udak Sai Vishnu. They all participate in nature, creating all the universes and taking care of empowering every atom of each universe. So therefore, Lord Krishna is cause of all causes. And he is also in everybody's heart. He's powering our heart. So I hope this verse is clear. One more time, I will read the translation. The supreme powerful person, the supreme powerful Lord then simultaneously entered into the 23 elements with the goddess Kali, his external energy, who alone amalgamates all the different elements. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Prabhuji, do you have any questions or comments on this verse?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. No, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Should I read another verse, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I think I can read this one too. So anupravishtho bhagavan cheshta ruped tangalam भिन्नं संयोजयामासा सुप्तं कर्म प्रबोधयन्. So अनुप्रविष्टो भगवान चेष्टा रूपेण तं गणं भिन्नं संयोजयामासा सुप्तं कर्म प्रबोधयन्. Now I'll read translation. Thus, when the personality of Godhead entered into the elements by his energy, all the living entities were enlivened into different activities. Just as one is engaged in his work after awakening from sleep. So we will read purport now to make everything clear. Purport given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Every individual soul remains unconscious after the dissolution of the creation and thus enters into the Lord with his material energy. These individual living entities are conditioned souls everlastingly from time immemorial. But in each and every material creation, they are given a chance to liberate themselves and become free souls. They are all given a chance to take advantage of the Vedic wisdom and find out what is their relationship with the Supreme Lord, how they can be liberated, and what is the ultimate profit in such liberation. So Prabhupada explains here very nicely that they are all given a chance to take advantage of the Vedic wisdom and find out what is their relationship with the Supreme Lord. We have to figure out what is our relationship with the Supreme Lord and how they can be liberated. How we can be liberated and what the ultimate profit is in such liberation. These are different questions we should ask. By properly studying the Vedas, one becomes conscious of his position and thus takes to the transcendental devotional service to the Lord and is gradually promoted to the spiritual sky. And then he goes to the spiritual sky, Vaikuntha. by doing all these transcendental activities. The individual souls in the material world engage in different activities according to their past unfinished desires. So we are engaged in different activities because we have some past unfinished desires and we are changing those desires. After the dissolution of a particular body, the individual soul forgets everything. But the all merciful Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart as the witness, the super soul, awakens him and reminds him of his past desires. The Lord is so merciful. He is in our heart as Chira Udak Sai Vishnu, 400 Vishnu far, and he is witness of what we are doing all the time. And then he reminds of all our desires, do this, do that. So that's how we function, we act. And thus he begins to act accordingly in his next life. And that's how we start working on different activities in our next life. This is unseen. This unseen guidance is described as fate. And the sensible man can understand that this continues his material bondage in the three modes of nature. So he says that this is how we continue our journey of doing material activities. So that's how we should understand that the Lord Krishna, who is situated in our heart, he reminds about our unfinished activities in our past life, and then he reminds, do this, do that. That's how we are doing in the in this material world, in the material bondage, in three modes of material nature. The unconscious sleeping stage of the living entity, just after the partial or total dissolution of the creation, is wrongly accepted as the final stage of life by some less intelligent philosophers. Upad is explaining that some philosophers says that the unconscious sleeping stage of the living entities after the partial or total dissolution is final stage of life, which is not. Prabhupada is refuting that here because it's something else. After the dissolution, the partial material body, a living, after the dissolution of the partial material body, whatever the material body dissolves during the dissolution, remains unconscious for many millions of years. But when the creation is like, for example, when Brahmaji sleeps, when Brahmaji sleeps for 300 trillion years, the jivas are unconscious for many millions, for that amount of time, for the amount of Brahmaji's night. But when the creation is again revived, when Brahmaji wakes up, he starts creation, he is awakened to his work by the Lord. Then that jiva, that soul, is awakened by the super soul, by the Chira Udak Sai Vishnu, the Paramatma, super soul. The living entity is eternal, and the wakeful state of his consciousness manifested by activities in his natural condition of life. This is the reality, that living entity is eternal, and the wakeful state of his consciousness, which is manifested by activities, is his natural condition. That's our natural condition. He cannot stop acting while awake. So, Prabhupada explains, while we are awake, meaning while we are in creation, when we are in the day of Brahmaji, we cannot sleep. We cannot stop acting while awake. Thus, he acts according to his diverse desires. And that's how we work according to our different desires, which is reminded by super soul, who is sitting in our heart. When his desires are trained in the transcendental service of the Lord, his life becomes perfect. Prabhupada explains here that when our desires dovetail to the service of the Lord, our life becomes perfect. And he is promoted to the spiritual sky to enjoy eternal awakened life. And therefore, we go to the spiritual sky where we enjoy eternal, blissful life, which is transcendental to this material happiness. So I hope this verse is clear here. Thus, when the personality of Godhead entered into the elements by his energy, all the living entities were enlivened into different activities, just as one is engaged in his work after awakening from sleep. When we wake up from sleep, we feel fresh and we start doing work. And that's how when personality of Godhead entered into elements by his energy, all living entities were enlivened into different activities. So I hope this is now clear with the help of this purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Now I will invite any comments or questions on this verse. If there is no question, I will read another verse. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. प्रबुद्ध कर्मा दैवेन त्रयोविंशतिको गणः प्रेरितो अजनयस्त्वाभिर्मात्राभिरधि पुरुषम् प्रबुद्ध कर्मा दैवेन त्रयोविंशतिको गणः प्रेरितो अजनयस्त्वाभिर्मात्राभिरधि पुरुषम्
प्रबुद्ध कर्मा दैवेन त्रयोविंशतिको गणः प्रेरितो जनाय
प्रेरितो
मात्राभिरादिपुरुषम्
Prabhuddha, awakened, karma activities, daivena, by the will of the Supreme, Traya Bimsatika, by the 23 principal ingredients, Gana, the combination, Prerita, induced by, Ajanayat, manifested, Swabhi, by his personal, Matrabhi, plenary expansions, Matrabhi, Adipurusam, the gigantic universal form, Vishwarupa. Now translation, when the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme, the gigantic universal form or the Vishwarupa body of the Lord came into existence. So here Maitreya Muni explains how the Vishwarupa form of the Lord created. When the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme, the gigantic universal form or the Vishwarupa body of the Lord came into existence. This is in reply to the Vidur Maharaj's question, how Lord created this universe. So Prabhupada explains in the purport, the Virata Rupa or Vishwarupa, the gigantic universal form of the Lord, which is very much appreciated by the impersonalist, is not an eternal form of the Lord. Prabhupada explains that that is not eternal form of the Lord. It is manifested by the supreme will of the Lord after the ingredients of the material creation. Lord Krishna exhibited this Virata or Vishwarupa to Arjuna just to convince the impersonalist that he is the original personality of Godhead. It's very clear in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna shows this form to Arjuna to show his supremacy, that he is the original creator. That it is not that Krishna was exhibited by the Virat Rupa. Here, he is the original personality of God. Krishna exhibited the Virat Rupa. It is not other way around. It is not that Krishna was exhibited by the Virat Rupa. It should be very clear. The Virat Rupa is not, therefore, an eternal form of the Lord exhibited in the spiritual sky. Here Prabhupada proves that the Virat Purusha is not an eternal form of the Lord which is existed in the spiritual sky. It is a material manifestation of the Lord. The Archa Vigraha, or the worshipable deity in the temple. It is a similar manifestation of the Lord for the neophytes. But in spite of their material touch, such forms of the Lord as the Virata or Archa are all non-different from his eternal form as Lord Krishna, which is not non-different than Krishna himself, because it is all created by Krishna. I think this is also clear. When the 23 principal elements were set in action by the will of the Supreme, the gigantic universal or the Vishwarupa body of the Lord came into existence. So I completed verse number 4, and now I'll move to verse number 5 if there are no comments or questions. Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu, all good. Thank you.
So now let's read verse number 5. Parena Visata Swamin.
Paren Vishita Swasmi.
Matraya Visvasrigangadha.
Matraya Vishwashriganaha.
Chukshobhanyonyamasādya.
Chukshobhanyonyamashadya.
Jasmin lokascharachara.
Yasmin lokascharacharaha.
Now you can read, Prabhuji, and then I will follow you.
Parena Vishita Swasmin.
Parena Visata Swasmin.
Matraya Vishwashriganaha.
Matraya Visvasrigangadha.
Chukshobhanyonyamashadya.
Chukshobhanyonyamasādya.
Yasmin lokascharacharaha.
Jasmin lokascharachara. Parena, by the Lord. Visata, thus entering. Swasmin, by his own self. Matraya by a plenary portion. Vishwasrik, the elements of universal creation. Gana, all. Chukchobha, transformed. Anyonyam, one another. Asadya, having obtained. Jasmine, in which Loka, the planets. Chara, achara, moving, movable, and immovable. Now, I will read translation. As the Lord in his plenary portion entered into the elements of the universal creation, they transformed into the gigantic form in which all the planetary systems and all movable and immovable creations rest. This is very interesting. As the Lord in his plenary portion entered into the elements of the universal creation, they transformed into the gigantic form in which all the planetary systems and all movable and immovable creations rest. Like we see sun and moon and all the planets and how they are moving, how they are rotating in their own orbits. So this is all with the help of Krishna's energy that we will now understand with the help of Prabhupada's purport here. The elements of creation are all matter and have no potency to increase in volume unless entered into by the Lord in his plenary portion. So until Lord Krishna in his plenary portions, he enters into universe, the material creation has no potency to increase in volume. Like we know now, scientists also accept that universe is expanding. That's we see in Brahma Samhita poster that universe comes in its small size from the course of the body of the Mahavishnu, and then that universe starts growing bigger, and then it manifests all the 14 planetary system in each universe. That's what Prabhupada is saying here. This means that matter does not increase or decrease unless it is spiritually touched. Matter has no potency. There was a scientist, he said that there is nothing in the matter. There is nothing real because everything is empty. Proton, electron, and neutron, and everything is empty. Proton is spinning. We don't know how proton is spinning all the time. We don't know the source of energy of the proton. So that's what Prabhupada is explaining here, that the matter has no power. So the proton, which is scientists are searching for, what is the source of protons spin for the last 40 years, but there is no clue. We don't know. But we just read Brahma Samhita verse in verse 2nd of this chapter. Andantarastha paramadu chiyantarastham govindamadi purusam tamaham bhajam. That, O Govinda, Brahmaji says, O Govinda, you are in the form of Garbhodak Sai Vishnu in each universe. And then you are in each atom as a Chira Udak Sai Vishnu. So Krishna is in every atom in the form of 400 Vishnu form as Chira Udak Sai Vishnu. He is also in our heart as Paramatma. And that's how the proton gets power. That's how our heart gets power to beat. That's how our heart is beating. हमारा हृदय तभी चल रहा है क्योंकि भगवान उसमें हैं. भगवान उसमें से निकल जाएंगे तो हमारा हृदय बंद हो जाएगा. हाँ, उसी को हम कहते हैं मृत्यु हो गई. That's death. When Krishna leaves this body gets unanimated. We cannot animate this body. This body is animated with the presence of Krishna. भगवान जी इस शरीर में हैं तभी ये शरीर हिल डुल रहा है. अगर भगवान जी इस शरीर से निकल जाएं तो शरीर का हिलना डुलना बंद. It's not gonna move. Every proton. Kunti Devi said that you are Viswatman. Kunti Devi had realization that Krishna is not my nephew. He is Viswatman. He is soul of the universe. It's like balloon in the air. When the air gets out, balloon becomes flat. That's the situation. When Krishna goes out of the universe, this universe is going to be flat. All the 14 planetary system will be flat. That's what Prabhupada is saying that here. As long as spirit is within matter, matter can increase as needed. So the entire cosmic here, let me read this. Matter is a product of spirit and increase only by the touch of spirit. So Prabhupada explains here, matter was created by spirit. So it's not other way around. We are not created by chemicals. Prabhupada condemned that very strongly. The entire cosmic manifestation has not assumed its gigantic form by itself, as wrongly calculated by less intelligent person. Less intelligent persons says that different chemicals aggregate and then they form life, which is not correct. There is no alternate hypothesis. There is no alternate theory given, which is Vedic theory, which says everything that Krishna is in everybody's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridaya sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarvairam vedyo vedant krita veda vidivacha Isvara sarva bhutanam hridaya arjun tishtati andantarastha paramadu chayantarastham govindamadi purusham bhajam. This is explained in Brahma Samhita, which was brought by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from South India at that time. So at least we have written history of more than 500 years back when we knew that in every atom Krishna is there. Andantarastha paramadu chayantarastham govindamadi purusham samam bhajami. In modern science it says that life comes from chemicals, but Prabhupada said no, and which is our Veda says, our Bhagavad Mahapurana says, Gita says, but somehow Prabhupada here says that it is wrongly calculated by less intelligent person that entire cosmic manifestations has assumed its gigantic form by itself, which is wrong. As long as spirit is within matter, matter can increase as needed. Like I gave example of proton. Proton is spinning in every atom, which is powered by Chira Udak Sai Vishnu, four-handed Vishnu form, and therefore it is possible to create an atom. That's how Lord Krishna creates. If proton stops spinning, there is nothing there, and everything is empty. So that's why here it's not gonna increase or decrease. But without the spirit, matter stops increasing. But without the spirit, when we take out the spirit from matter, it stops increasing. For example, as long as there is a spiritual consciousness within the material body of a living entity, the body increases to a required size, but a dead material body which has no spiritual consciousness stops increasing. After death, there is no growth. We learned in school that body grows and reproduce. That is one of the sign of life. But after death, there is no growth. When a tree dries, it's not gonna grow. It's not gonna become thick or thin. Similarly, when animals die, when we die, our body doesn't grow. So Prabhupada makes it very clear here. For example, as long as there is a spiritual consciousness within the material body of a living entity, the body increases to the required size. But a dead material body, which has no spiritual consciousness, stops increasing. So I hope it is very clear. Now, Prabhupada tells here in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, importance is given to the spiritual consciousness, not the body. So Bhagavan Krishna explains about different qualities of the soul in second chapter, and he gives importance to the spiritual consciousness, not the material consciousness, not to the body. Because this body is like a cloth. We keep on changing. The entire cosmic body increased by the same process that we experience in our small bodies. So here, Prabhupada makes it very clear that similarly, when Lord Krishna is in this universe grows. When he is out, the dissolution takes place. So one should not, however, foolishly think that the individual infinitesimal soul is the cause of the gigantic manifestation of the universal form. The universal form is called the Virata Rupa, big form, Virata Rupa, because the Supreme Lord is within it in his plenary portion. Using his plenary portion, Supreme Lord is there in this universe. And that's why it's called Virat Rupa. Virat Rupa of whom? Virat Rupa of Lord Krishna. Virat Rupa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I hope it is very clear now. Let me read one more time the translation. As the Lord in his plenary portion entered into the elements of the universal creation, they transformed into the gigantic form in which all the planetary systems and all movable and immovable creations rest. I will stop here, and I think we have 5 minutes left for question, answer, or comments. Prabhuji, please let me know if you have any questions or comments. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Do you have any comments or questions?
No, Prabhu. Thank you for your wonderful class.
Yeah, if not, we can end here by Vaishnava Pranama.
Vancha
kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran ki jai. Shri Sri Baldev Subhadra Mai ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Alarnath Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.